All right, you guys, I am so excited to be here. We are on time. Yay! We are on time. And I know that you guys see that I do have a special guest today. I will be introducing you to him here in a few seconds. But before we get started, as always, I have to make sure that we have great audio and sound, and especially today because of today's topic that we are talking about, which is how to start or expand your daycare business without a loan, a business loan, and also Victor here is going to be sharing with you guys some great stuff. So before we get started, let me go ahead and check audio and sound. If you are joining, can you please come in and say hello? Can you let me know that you can hear and see us okay? And also comments, okay? Hi, Federica, how are you? I know, you know what? I was talking about you yesterday to somebody. I was on the phone with somebody, and I don't know, we were talking, and you just crossed my mind. So I hope that you are doing okay, but I'm so glad that you are joining us live today. Okay. All right, so we're going to check audio and sound. Victor, can you hit the refresh button? We practiced this, you guys, before we got on here. So hopefully Victor is not so nervous that he can't get this done. But this is Victor's first time, you guys, going live. Are you nervous, Victor, a little bit?
A tad bit.
Okay, he's a little bit nervous, but that's okay. You guys go ahead and give him some hearts and some thumbs up and make him feel warmed and welcomed. Look, can you see? Look. There's a heart. There's a little heart that went up for you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and he'll be fine. He will be fine. Okay. So obviously, I think you guys can hear us, right? Can you guys just let me know that you can hear and see us? Okay. I'm assuming that you can. So okay. So go ahead and scroll down, and then let's. Okay, just a second. It's going to give it a second to load up. As you're coming in, please let me know where you're coming in from. Please say hello. Do all those good things. I hope you guys are having a great, great Friday. I know the weather here, it is, I keep saying that every time I do a live video, I'm almost saying it's fall. But today it is fall. It's like maybe 60 something degrees. And it's that kind of weather that you need, you know, some kind of a sweater and things like that. But the sun is shining. It is absolutely beautiful. So, all right, we look like we're good. Okay, on our end, it's showing a little bit of distortion with the video. Is anybody seeing that on your end? Because I hope that's not happening at all, because that does not look good on our end. So if anybody can just tell me if we are clear, because we are seeing some issues over here on our end. It's distorted. The video is distorted. So like I said, I hope that's not happening. Let me double check over here on my end, you guys. Please bear with us. Let's see, there's comments over there, Victor. So let's just see if there's any more comments. Please, please bear with us. I know you guys, you are going to be in for a treat today for sure. So, okay, Frederica says all good, no issues. Thank you so much, Frederica. Okay, so we're going to roll with that and we're going to get started. Before we get started, you guys, for anybody that is new, okay, there we are, good. For anybody that is new to Childcare Success Tools, my name is Ashley Benz. I am a childcare business strategizer and mindset mentor. I'm the founder and creator of childcaresuccesstools.com, which is the #1 online platform for childcare business management. What qualifies me to do this is that I actually owned, operated, ran, and directed a daycare business for 10 years. I started out in my home in 2005, transitioned that into a licensed childcare center, and I did that for 10 years. Now, what makes my journey a little bit unique, a little bit different, is that I actually basically kind of stumbled upon what I call childcare business automation. And basically that is what I lead any childcare business owner to, is how to automate your daycare business. Because when I ran my daycare business, for the first 6 years, it was a hot mess. We were stressed, right, Victor?
Oh,
we were stressed out. We were stressed out, okay? And it was a lot going on. And then about the 8th year that I was in business, we basically kind of stumbled upon childcare business automation, and it just, everything just, it completely changed, okay? So, Okay, what else is on my list? You guys know that I have to have notes because, if I don't have notes, I will go down a rabbit hole of all kinds of sorts of stuff. There's so many things with this business, with running a daycare business. And so anyway, once again, we are going to be talking about how to start or expand your daycare business without a business loan. But before we get into that, I do want to let you know this video is sponsored by our How to Get Started Academy. And basically, the Academy waitlist is now open. I know you guys have been asking for this. You've been just all kinds of stuff. You guys have been like tugging, and you're like, Ashley, I need help. I need help. I need help. Well, the wait list is open. Okay. Now the doors to the Academy are not, but the wait list is open. And basically on the wait list, you guys have done this stuff before, but you get on the wait list. If you are on the wait list, it's just pretty much like you're like our VIPs. So you get basically like firsthand information on what's going on, updates, when enrollment's going to happen, any kind of enrollment special discounts or things like that, so that you are going to be like the first to know and you can take advantage of those opportunities. Okay, so who is this for? Well, if you are trying to start a daycare business or you are trying to expand your current daycare business, this would be for you, because we're going to show you, mainly Victor, is going to show you how to do that without a business loan. Hang on. You okay?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Okay. We're going to show, I think I can tell I think he's wanting to say something by now.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
By the way, you guys, I don't know if I ever mentioned, we'll get into Victor, but this is my husband, for those of you that don't know. And so anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, if you were trying to start or expand your daycare business, we're going to show you how to do that without a business loan. Now, here is the thing about starting any business with a business loan is very risky. We don't promote that. We was able to run Ashley Angel's Childcare, which was my daycare business, for 10 years without a business loan. So we can tell you how to do that. And I'm just going to go over this okay, so you guys, I'm getting emails, Instagram messages on my YouTube, just everywhere. And there's a big need, okay? This is from Aisha the other day. She said, I want to know how much money I need to start a home daycare business. Ashley says, hi, I'm interested in opening up an home childcare, and I'm stuck and need some help. I have Carol from Trinidad who says, I'm actually doing 2 centers, one daycare and one preschool, to test the waters. And she said, it's going good, but I want to know more and be advised. So there's just a lot of need out there, I think, for this. And so we're just so excited to be able to bring you this information today. Now, before we get started, okay, we're getting ready to jump in. But I need to tell you one thing. First of all, if you're watching from YouTube, you are watching the replay or the recorded version of the Facebook Live. I will let you know, please, if you are not a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe so you can basically get notified of when we go live and these amazing topics that we do here, okay? And also, when you do subscribe, be sure that you hit that bell, that notification bell that is going to basically send your notifications to your phone or desktop or whatever to let you know when these videos are posted. If you're live here on Facebook, here's what you're going to have to do. If you want to see my stuff, okay, and see more stuff of me and Victor, you will have to like, comment, share, or do something. Here's the deal about Facebook, you guys. They have changed the algorithm. They're always changing the algorithm. Facebook is more concerned about what you want, okay? And you can understand that. They don't want to be showing you things that you're not interested in. The only way that you're going to be able to train the algorithm on how to do that is that if you like something, you got to give a thumbs up, a heart. You need a comment down below, and then Facebook will be sure that whenever we go live and I go live, Facebook will be sure to show you that stuff. So please do that, okay? If you don't, then they just won't show you the stuff here at Childcare Successfuls, and you're gonna be missing out on all kinds of stuff. You guys know that. You know I bring value. Okay, once again, as you're coming in, say hello. We've got Lori Ann from Michigan. Okay, thank you so much for joining, Lori Ann. All right, you guys. So we're going to start this off with doing just a little bit of a mini interview with Victor so you guys can kind of get to know him a little bit and all that. So, you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, we'll tell you, Victor, You just be yourself.
Okay.
I'm gonna coach him through this, you guys. Okay, just be yourself, and you'll be fine. All right. So the first question is, can you tell them a little bit about your background, what you've done, all that kind of stuff.
Well, in my early career, I went to school to study about electronics, and then I got my electronics degree, and then I started working for a business. In that business, I led on to working for an aerospace company, and so I was a supervisor over a department, and then with the aerospace company. With that, I understand processes, and I think that's where I really geared towards that, and learning those skills. And processes are so important, especially if you get audited or if you get inspected. You have to have your processes down pat. And also, I learned other skill levels as far as managing over people because I was over the department. And so I had my ups and downs with that. And so, but I did take on many things that I've learned from that experience. And after that, after the aerospace company, of course, me and Ashley, we got married and I moved up to Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And from there, then I got into the automotive industry. And so that's where I'm currently in now. And so learning those types of skills as far as, and of course, even in the automotive industry, you have to understand processes. And then I went to school to get my accounting degree. And that's one of my interests is in finance. And so I know even in my younger years too that I was always geared towards managing money, and because I had managed money a little bit in the church I used to go to, and I had those type of things. So that was part of my wants and at least my interests geared towards. And also, even on the side, when I had time in my hand, I remember I also liked to do programming. Mm-hmm. So I was more into the technical aspects of life and in that sense. And so, and I think that's where I get my energies towards CST. With CST, you got to be technically affluent. You got to know your finances. And also you have to deal with people. And so, and in dealing with people too, of course, that's where I learned with in the aerospace industry too, because I had to, part of my job was customer support to at least to the equipment and things out there in the field. And so I had to deal with different people out there in the field and that aspect. And so I think I can have more value to you all and showing my experiences and I think, where with CST that we're geared towards trying to develop a childcare program without money. They say, well, without money, it's like, well, at least without a loan. And you say, well, without a loan, well, and you say, well, how can you do that? There's a way of doing that. And sometimes, when you think about that, sometimes the slow and methodical way is probably better. Mm-hmm. Because you want to make sure that you do it right the first time. You don't want no uh-ohs or oops in your business. Otherwise, then you're going to have to recover from those mistakes. Mm-hmm. And those things we have to avoid, especially as small business owners. We don't have time to, recover from financial mistakes. We need to be smart about it. We need to be methodical about it. We need to be careful about these things so that when we do lay out the plan, when we do follow our system, it's going to work. And even with the background and in the church, that a well laid out plan and a thoughtful plan, especially with prayer, you're going to win. Mm-hmm. No matter what, you're going to win. And so, but it does take patience.
Yeah. Let me stop you there. You did so good. Everybody give me some thumbs up. He did good, didn't he? I thought I was going to have to kind of cue him a little bit more. And I told you, once you get on here, you just kind of, when you're passionate about something, you just talk. Okay. So let me ask you this question, Victor. Like, what do you feel? Because you've been inside. Look at all that stuff. Thank you so much, you guys. They're giving you a kind of hearts and likes and all kind of stuff. So what do you feel is missing in the daycare business industry just as a whole? So Victor, you guys actually ran, Frederica says he is a pro.
Well, thank you, Frederica.
Okay, because Victor actually, so he worked the daycare business with me for 2 years. And then of course, being married, I mean, I don't care whether your spouse is a part of the business or not, but when you are married, you're married to that person. And if that person has a business, you are married to that business. Okay. So Victor had a lot of experience and things like that with just everything that we went through. But I want you to kind of talk more on the finance end of it. And what do you feel like is missing in the childcare business industry as a whole on the finance end?
I think we find a lot of times, especially with people who are passionate about childcare, and which is good. You need the passion in childcare, but you also need the education as far as in finances. A lot of times our passion and everything overrides and we forget about, this is a business. And we forget about that, and we don't understand we don't have that proper foundation about setting up your accounts, setting up your financial systems, because when you turnkey on that business, it's on, and it's on every day, 24/7.
Yeah, even when you're sleeping, it's still running in some way, form, or fashion. And the finance part of it, which is cash flow. What is cash flow? Well, it's money's flowing. It's like a stream. And so it never shuts off.
Yeah, especially if you actually own the building, you're using electricity, you're using water, all your utilities. And those things don't stop. And if you're paying a lease or paying a mortgage, those expenses are gonna come every single month. Mm-hmm. And so we have to have a process and a way of having a business run, being able to pay your expenses, and being able to have a profit.
Yeah. All right. So, so let's get into, and here, just so I don't know, you don't need that, do you? Okay. So let's go ahead and get into just kind of the meat of how to start or expand a daycare business without a loan. And here is my whole thing is that, you guys have heard me say this before, and you guys know we use scripture, but as he thinks in his heart, so is he, right? And one of the things is that basically whatever is going on in your daycare business, or even if you're trying to get started or expand or whatever's happening in this area of your life right now, it is a manifestation of what you've been thinking. So even when it comes to our money, our finances, and running a daycare business, it is a manifestation of what you've been thinking. A lot of times, at least what happened with me is that, I did not know how to think about my daycare business money. I didn't even hardly have enough time to even think about it. And so what happened with me is that, that manifested into a lot of financial failures. Okay. We're talking about, taxes and payroll issues and not getting numbers right and bank accounts overdrafting. This is the real stuff, you guys. And you guys know that when you come here to me, I'm just going to tell you how it is, right? This is what happens. And so, if you don't have $10,000 in your bank account, it's because of the manifestation of what you've been thinking. So there's something that's going on in your thinking and your processes in regards to your money. Okay, and we're gonna get deeper into this. So the first thing that as far as how to start or expand a daycare business without a loan, as we were talking about your thinking and things like that, the first thing is that you have to assess your current financial health. And that would basically be not, and you can tell me, Victor, what you think about this, but that would not be so much of your business, but you're actually like how you actually run your home, like your current financial health. Okay.
Yeah. Even with that, I'm sorry, but
no, you're fine.
But even with that, we're all business owners, whether we like it or not. If we own a house,
true.
If we own a house and we have a family, you are actually a business owner because your home is your business. Income comes in and expenses goes out. And you have to, and there are some good managers and there are some bad managers. Sometimes, that we may be in a situation where we're in a deficit, meaning that, we're not making ends meet. We're below that. And sometimes you're running like I guess the phrase is, either wheel in the hamster, a hamster on the wheel, or a cat trying to chase his tail. Sometimes, we have to get down and look at our finances. Don't be afraid of it. And we have to face the music. And I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to be in our program where we're going to talk about is facing the music.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think that, okay, so even like looking back, if we look back on even, my journey and my situation, do you think that before somebody actually starts a daycare business or even expands one, but mainly start one, because that's kind of where the beginning, do you think that they really do need to be aware of their relationship with money, just in general?
Yeah.
Just their relationship.
Yeah.
I'm probably, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because a lot of times you guys, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you guys, what happens is that we kind of, at least for me, and I know this is for you guys as well because I talk to you all the time, but when you think about starting a daycare business or you're wanting to expand your current one, the very first thing that everybody wants to go to is all the things that you have to do, licensing and, obviously, yes, where do I get the money and things like that, when really where we need to begin is inside of our homes, inside of where you know what I'm saying? Because that is whatever you do in your home is going to trickle over into your business. However you run your home is going to trickle over into your business. You guys, we've all heard that saying where, you can look at and tell if somebody keeps their house clean by their car. If you go in somebody's car and it's dirty, most likely that's kind of an indication of how they keep their house. And so it's the same thing. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And, when you hear some of these high top financial people and they talk about these things like, they knew it all their life. No, we all have to learn. I've made mistakes. We all make mistakes, financially in life. And, sometimes, I know for me, I guess the things that come to my mind is that we have to put away pride, come to the realization and speak truth to yourself and say, hey, where am I at financially? Once you figure that out, then at that time, you can go ahead and fix. Mm-hmm. But you have to come to terms with that.
Yeah. And
it does take bravery. Some of us has, pride as big as mountains. and we have to put that away and say, hey, once you come to the terms, then you can get better. Here's the road to get better and to start improving. Start learning. Get excited about this. Don't be afraid of this. Get really excited about this. And I truly believe that, that we can overcome these things. Mm-hmm. And, it's not a mystery. It's not, some something that we can't understand. We can all understand this. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm. Just a little tip there. Okay, and so the next thing that we did you see my?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm giving him a tip.
Okay.
A tip. Did you read that?
I didn't quite understand.
Okay,
that.
I'm just gonna y'all. He's okay. You'll be just look in the camera hole, camera a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that I
that.
have to. Yeah, I know. Okay, he's all good. We're training y'all. Y'all gonna see. you guys are just gonna get just the real of us. Okay, so this is just it. All right. So the second portion of it, and I well actually we just talked about actually kind of your current financial health, but also your relationship with money. And so there are things that just our beliefs about money, a lot of things, you guys, how we was raised and our upbringing and what our parents did and our, things like that. That stuff will affect how you run your daycare business. And so you do kind of have to address those, your relationship with money. Your money is like a human being because technically it's you, right? Just think about that. Let me say that again. Your money acts like an actual person, but in reality, that money is you because you're the one that brings it in. You're the one that attracts it. You're the one that manages it or mismanages or whatever the case is there. And so it's really you. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Makes sense? Okay.
Absolutely.
Am I on track on that? All right. So even our upbringing, how we were raised, I know that, me and Victor, we didn't come from too much of anything. I think that all of our parents did the best that they could.
Yeah.
I think each and every one of our parents did the best they could. And so each generation, gets better and better, and we can now teach our children the right things about finances. But you do kind of have to address that, and you really do have to make sure that those things that you were taught, okay, that might have been taught wrong, that doesn't creep into your business because it will. And you guys, I'm getting the thumbs up and all that good stuff. So I know you know where I'm coming from, right? Okay. So how to start or expand your daycare business without a loan. We're talking about the mind because this is where this all starts. It starts up here. We're talking about assessing your relationship with money, assessing your current financial health. Most people don't even know their current financial health at all. Like literally, I'm talking about things like your debt to income ratio, and things like that. Most people, what they'll do is they'll wait until it's time they want to go get a loan, and then they're going in and scrambling and getting all this information. When really you need to be having that information in place way before it's time for all that stuff, so that when you go in there and you sit at that desk at that bank, they're not going to tell you no. And I know we've all been there, but how many times have you walked up in a bank and you've been told no, right? And it's like, I know I told Victor one day, this was years back or whatever, and I told him, I said, you know what, I'm sick of this. I am so sick of walking into somewhere and being told no. So, we worked on it. We changed that. But you do need to know your numbers. And you guys hear me say that all the time, but you need to know your numbers, and you need to know your personal financial situation and where you're at. Anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I totally agree with that. Knowing your numbers, before you go into the bank or asking someone for a loan, you want to be prepared, hands down. You don't want someone telling you what you can do. You want to know already what you can do.
Amen. Can I get a yes and an amen on that? Yes, that is so true. Federica says, just had that experience. Yeah. And it is, to be honest with you, Federica, I think that we've all been there, but really honestly, I will say this. The one thing that, I always take from being told no, it just makes me work harder. It makes me work harder. It makes me say, you know what? You told me no once, but when I walk back in here again, you won't be telling me no. right? So just you hang in there, Frederica, okay? And this is why we're here, because we're gonna seep this stuff into into daycare business, because there's a lack of knowledge, and we all know that Scripture teaches us that when there is a lack of knowledge, what happens? Well, we suffer. And I think that this industry has been suffering for a very long time, and so we hope to be able to change that. Okay. Another thing that we do as far as how to start a daycare business without a loan, and so Victor was talking about actually going in and getting, we were just talking about this, us, Federica, we're all here talking about this, but this is what we need to do. This is what you need to do. You need to be your own bank, okay? You need to basically learn how to, and I'm probably already jumping ahead of myself, but you kind of want to get all that together before it's actually time for you to get a loan, okay? And there is a way to start your business or even expand without getting a loan. And then what happens is that if you can learn to do that, then you will be well equipped to go in and get a loan. They're not going to tell you no. Why? Because they're going to see this track record and this history that, oh, wow, this business owner right here was able to run their business 5 years without a business loan. Well, yeah, we're going to lend them money. Man, look at what they're, that's what they're going to say. Look at what, if they can do this, they're not risky at all. They want to know, they want to see that you know how to take care of business, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what they want. They're going to want their money back. And they want to be able to lend it to somebody that can take care of business, okay? And don't put them at risk. So the other part that we want to just kind of go over with you briefly is that tools and resources and a plan, okay? If you're going to start a daycare business without a loan, you're going to have to be able, and I think Victor mentioned this in the beginning, you're going to have to be able to know, have the right tools, have resources, and you got to have a plan. Now, here is the definition of a plan. You guys know I talk about that all the time. A plan, a plan, a plan, a plan, a plan. Here's the definition. I got this from Wikipedia. It says a plan is typically any diagram or a list of steps. Okay, now get this. That means you're going to have this on paper. A diagram or a list of steps is going to be where? Somewhere written down, okay? With details of timing and resources. Look at that timing. That's a calendar, you guys. That is there. That means this has got a plan. Not only does it have a plan, but it's got a time that we're going to work on this stuff. And resources, okay? You got to have the resources to be able to help you do this. Used to achieve an objective, to do something. It also says it sees the word strategy, and it is a strategy. It is commonly understood as a temporal set of intended actions through which one expects to achieve a goal. But what I love about this is that it states there's two things in here that we got to have. We got to have a plan is a diagram or a list, you guys. This stuff has got to be on paper. If you don't have I don't care what it is, your financial aspect of your business, your marketing, I don't care what it is. If you don't have this stuff on paper, you guys, you don't have a plan. And it says a diagram or a list of steps, okay? A plan is a list of steps with details. So not only do we have steps, but we got details, the intricate details that it takes to actually go somewhere, okay? In timing and resources, calendars, resources. So you do have to have the right tools, the right resources, and you've got to have a plan. Anything you want to add to that?
With that in mind too, what that's saying is that you got to have certain habits, certain disciplines about yourself. Yeah. The real successful people, they have habits, they have certain disciplines. Hands down. Yeah. They're not spending a lot of time watching TV or going out all the time. They have habits and they have discipline. Mm-hmm. And so these are some of the things that we're going to teach you, and so that you can have those type of habits. And also, successful people and happy people, enjoyable people, they have balance.
That's true. Yeah.
They know how to put the work in, shut it off, and then have family time and have enjoyment time. so that when they do come back to work again, it's work. They put in the energies towards that,
and they have the energy,
and they have
because they've had that, because they've had that balance. You guys hear me talk about that all the time. Self-care, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So in conclusion, I think what we want to leave you guys with. Okay, we're gonna get into how this is all gonna play together and how Victor's gonna come into all this stuff. But in conclusion, is that you can't make money until you understand how to get it first. Because when your daycare business does make money, you will lose it without the proper knowledge of actually how to get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You gotta know how to get money first before you can actually or before you can't make money until you know how to get it. Until you know how to get money into your hands, attract it, keep it, hold it, manage it, do all the things that it's supposed to do. You cannot make the money, because what's going to happen is it's going to come in and then you don't know what to do with it, or you're not handling it correctly, or maybe you're just busy with the day-to-day stuff and you're not doing what you need to be doing, and so you won't be making any money. Why? Because money is like, it's why they call it a cash flow. Money is a flow. Okay? So I want you to think about a stream of water and how that stream, it goes, right? It goes. It just goes where it, and this is, you could probably add in to help me on this one, Victor, but it goes anywhere. And so your money is just like a stream of water. If you do not manage it, get a hold of it, tell it where it needs to go, it's going to go wherever it wants to. And then you're going to be stuck with the daycare business that's not really making any money. You're going to be rolling around, okay? Just years and years and years and years. And here's what people do. Here's what they do. They sit here, because I did it. So how do I know? Because I did it. But I did it. So I'm going to use me. I sat and I told myself this. Well, if I just work hard, I know that things are going to get better. If I just keep working, if I just keep doing this, I know that stuff is going to get better. But let me tell you this, it just did not get better for me. It got worse. Why? Because I was not managing the money. And until I got a hold of myself and I became aware of what the issue was, then things changed. Okay. Anything you want to say in conclusion?
Well, the only thing I can say in conclusion to that is that one thing that comes to mind is that, definitely managing your money is so important, because, and you all have probably heard of this, of celebrities, people who have, people who like gained a lot of money really quickly and then they end up broke.
Yeah.
Why is that? It's not because, those things happen because no one probably didn't teach them how to manage it properly. You have, a lot of young people who may get, rich really quick and then they end up poor. Why is that? It shouldn't be. It should not be. And so learning how to properly manage it, learning where to put your money at, and learning how to basically being able to access it and knowing the numbers. Well, how much debt do you have? What number do you know? How much income do you have? What number is that? Or, what's your expenses on your electric bill? What's your expenses in certain parts of your program, your daycare program?
How much, one of the questions I think too, and that we kind of looked at as well, how much does it actually cost you to run one classroom? Do you know how much it costs you to run one classroom out of your daycare business?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Those are things that if you really, really want to be successful at this, you're starting it or trying to expand, the more you know with this stuff, the more numbers that you know, the more things, the detailed stuff that you know, literally nobody can stop you.
Yeah,
nobody can stop you
because nothing's being hidden from you. You know everything about it. You're absolutely right about your classroom ratios and the expenses in the classroom. Like even there are some things too that when do I get a teacher? When is too much overhead or too much help or too much expenses in childcare. What number is that? Where's that make or break point? Those type of things, you need to know. Because all this, by knowing these things, it's just going to make you better, more successful.
Yeah.
And even by managing that, and here's the kicker, especially, this is your expertise as far as the automation. If I'm spending too much money on this, well, how can I automate it more so it can be more efficient and therefore put more money in my pocket?
Yeah. Exactly.
How can I automate it?
Yeah.
Just put more money in your pocket.
And there's ways to automate, your money in a way that you'll know exactly where you're going wrong at. Right. So, okay. You did good.
Oh, thank you.
You did good. I'm so proud of Victor. He did good. So I know that we'll be seeing more of Victor. Obviously, we don't really kind of know all the integral details of how this is going to, what am I trying to say? How this is going to, as far as Victor being on here more, but I know that you guys will be seeing more of him. So here is the deal. We are working on the How to Get Started Academy. And now one of the main things that we're going to actually focus on inside of this academy is how to go from 0 to 20K without a business loan, because we want to show you how to do that. Now, right now, like I said, we're in the beginning stages. We spent yesterday working on it, and today we're kind of right now in the process of laying out all the modules for you guys and just making sure that it's really organized and structured. Because what we're not going to do is we're not going to have you come in to a program and it be a hot mess, okay? Because then you're going to be a hot mess, and that's just not going to help anybody. So, hi, Charmaine. How are you? Hi, let's see, Sapphire. Thank you, ladies, for joining. Charmaine, this is my husband, Victor. Victor, I know that this is all virtual, but this is Charmaine.
Hello,
she
Charmaine.
is in the UK, and she's a part of my mastermind program. So I'm glad that you joined us. I know it's
welcome.
Yeah, I know it's in the afternoon there, or probably evening there for you. So yes, you guys, we are so excited about it. Now, here's what you need to do if you would like to be a part of the academy. Get to kind of get all that information. Is after this video, we're gonna put the link down below in the comments. And there's a wait list there. Then let me just explain the wait list, because I don't want anybody to get confused on what that is. The wait list just says that you're raising your hand and you're saying, yes, I am interested. Please let me know when you guys are going to be opening the doors, if there's going to be any enrollment specials and all that good stuff, okay? So that's what the wait list is. And like I said, we are working on things. We really, honestly, our goal is to have it opened within, what do you think?
No, you're the expert on that.
All right. So our goal is to try to have it open, you guys, maybe within the next 4 to 5 weeks. So maybe around this time, November-ish. But that is what we're pushing for. And like I said, you guys will get more information on that. So go, and once I end this video, I'm going to put that link below. You guys, it's going to be for the wait list. Now, let me just go over again who this is for. If you're trying to start or expand your current daycare business, then will be for you, okay? Once again, our main focus as we start to build out this program is going to be teaching you how to go from 0 to 20K without a business loan, okay? So if that's something that you want to learn how to do, get on the wait list. We'll be sending you an email out, and we'll be sending you emails out periodically to kind of keep you in the loop, and also to let you know when the enrollment actually opens, okay? Okay, also, if you're not a part of my private Facebook group, please be sure to join us. There's over thousands of members in there. I do want to say that I think most of everybody in there it's being where it's more people that are trying to get started. But it's a wonderful mix of those that are trying to get started, already in business, trying to expand, trying to learn automation. We're just it's just a melting pot of childcare business owners and those that want to get started. So be sure to join us over there. I'll leave the link below. I can't think of anything else, you guys. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. I really hope that this inspires you. I hope that you got encouraged. And just know that we are here to help you in any way that we can. We're here to make sure that nobody is making the same mistakes that I did and that we did, okay? Because, it was a learning process. And of course, Victor, came into the business after we got married. So the business was already running. I will tell you that a lot of some of the stuff that you see behind CST, automation, and even you guys that have already taken some of my business and budgeting courses, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Okay, a lot of this has come from him. He has taught me so much about money and about finance, and Victor is really good at it. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys back here next Wednesday, if the Lord's will, at our normal time. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time is usually when I go live. I'll let you guys know. If you're on the wait list, you will get notified when you'll see Victor again. Victor, you want to tell everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate everyone from joining us and from welcoming me because I'm pretty new at this. And I think some of the thoughts that come to my mind too is that if you all have any questions or anything that we can help you with, throw it at us. Test us. We want to make sure that this program be the best, and we truly want to help people progress, progress financially, get stronger, be confident, and we want to make this work. Believe me, we really do want to make this work, and we appreciate everyone's love towards us, and we'll hopefully success in the future.
Yes. All right, you guys. Well, listen. Thank you so much for joining once again. Thank you so much for welcoming Victor in. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. Once again, all the information will be down below after we get off of here. I can't think of anything else. Have an amazing weekend. And also, yes, if you do have any questions, leave those in the comments below. Okay, if you're watching the replay or anything like that, leave those in the comments below. If you're on YouTube, leave it in the comments below. Be sure to share this out to you guys. Be sure to share this out with anybody, any other daycare owner, business owner that you guys know that would benefit from this video. And listen, you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Okay, God bless.